Thank you for your time.
Mike Stenhouse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I run a public policy research and advocacy organization, and I'll just say up front, unlike I think everybody else I've heard, I have no vested interest in any of this. I'm representing the free market and consumers. I'm not paid by anybody to be here. We want to see what's best for our state. I think maybe a current United Nations ambassador and former governor of South Carolina who vetoed such legislation years ago said it best. A bill like this would put our state on the leading edge of protectionism and not innovation. Now we know that our own governor, Raimondo, has really been stressing innovation. This bill would block technological innovation. We believe that consumers should have the right to choose the health care that they want with informed consent. Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm looking at your letter, okay?
Yep, which I did submit. Yeah, as an opinion piece from last year.
Okay.
Yes.
So the letter says right here, I would like to provide some background, which before your committee, as a 501c3 organization, our center is not allowed to advise you to support or oppose any piece of legislation.
Correct.
Didn't you just
No.
advise us to oppose this legislation?
Well, I'm not telling you how to vote on it. I'm discussing the underlying issues involved here. That in a free market,
you're speaking to senators
I understand.
who are considering a piece of legislation.
Did you hear me say vote yes or no?
You just,
No.
if I was to play back the tape,
Legislation like this violates free market principles.
That's an opinion.
It is.
Okay, so you violated your 501c3.
No, I didn't. I didn't advise you how to vote. It's a thin line, but this is what 501c3s across the country do. We can argue the point, but it's what think tanks across the country do. They give opinions on pieces of legislation.
Well, you just said that you're not allowed to give opinions.
No,
That's
I'm not allowed to advise you how to vote.
I am not allowed to advise you to support or oppose the legislation. Right.
And I didn't say that.
You can go forward, but we're dismissing or accepting your comments other than the letter.
Well,
based on that fine line.
That's a fine line we're careful to walk. I mean, we've done it for years, if I may. Okay. There are alternatives to this. The eye doctors. You control your patients since they have to see you first. You can advise them whether or not you think certain online services are healthy or not. You have them right in your office. You could create a little marketing piece and then let the consumer make the choice. That's what seems to be lost in all this. Everybody wants to think that they know what's best for the patient. No, medically maybe, but as a patient, as a free market guy, I want the right to be able to choose whether I want the convenience of an app or I want to go get a more detailed, visit with my doctor at his or her office. Start your own online app. So when they walk out, hey, when it's time to refill, you can do this from there. You don't have to have government step in and ban a whole area of technological innovation.
So what about that is not an opinion? What about what you just said is not an opinion?
I'm allowed to express an opinion.
What?
I'm allowed to express an opinion.
But in your letter it says you're not allowed.
I'm not allowed to advise you to support or oppose the bill. That's the fine line. You didn't hear me say that. I'll end there since I don't need this to be contentious. I don't know why I've been doing this for 5 years, and this is the first time I've heard this. But I'll end right there. If anyone wants to ask a question, I'll be happy to. If not, thank you for the time.